It's the holiday present all horse players wait to open the day after Christmas, and the day has finally arrived. 11 tremendous races, 6 of them graded stakes races, 3 of them grade 1 events, including the feature race, the grade 1 Run Happy Malibu, which will go later on today's card. Delighted that you decided to spend all or part of your day with us here on what promises to be a blizzard. No, not a blizzard from a weather standpoint, but a blizzard from a money standpoint. Certainly plenty of money is going to be transferred back and forth, and we hope you have a lot of luck. One of the people trying to wish you good luck and maybe bring you a few winners is my seminar guest today. You'll hear him throughout the entire card. He's the voice of Santa Anita. His name, Frank Mirahmadi. Frank, happy opening day. Welcome to the seminar.
And happy New Year for all intents and purposes, because
sure
the new year of horse racing begins today, Tom. And what an honor it is to be here, starting my 5th season at the greatest race place.
Welcome home, right? It was a quick 7-week vacation, so to speak. We got some things out of the way, but now we're back, all business from now until June. It should be an exciting meet. Look at all the jockeys coming to town to ride. Johnny V, of course, is coming back. Flavian will be here. Frankie Dettori. The list is really getting good in terms of strength at the top of the colony.
Kazushi Kimura has joined the party as well, and he gets a very live mount, replacing Joel Rosario, who's off his mounts today.
And he's no laughing matter. He was the leading rider up at Woodbine. He's serious, and he's down here meaning business.
Yeah, he certainly is. And Joel Rosario certainly has made his presence felt here and has set the standard in Southern California for some time. So we wish him a very speedy recovery, and we want to see him showing off his God-given skills on the racetrack for us very shortly.
Well, you have a lot of God-given skills, Frank, and of course you're one of the premier announcers, not only in the country, but anywhere in the world. On a day like today, where it almost feels like a Breeders' Cup, do you have any sort of butterflies? Like, how do you prepare? How do you calm the butterflies? Because you don't get a second take. You know, there's only one shot, and you always like to admire the winners of the different races. Like, what's your psyche right now?
I actually thought of you this morning.
I hope in a good way.
A very positive way. I was thinking about you because we talk often about the whole butterfly effect. If you don't have butterflies on a day like today, something is very wrong. So certainly I feel that nervous anticipation for opening day. It's something I look forward to, and pulling in here, seeing the large crowd on hand, everybody waiting in line to get autographs from Flavian Pratt and John Sadler. Of course, that was a beautiful sight to see the place crowded. And, you know, Jim Croce's song, I had to say I love you, and the song was on, and I just looked at the Santa Anita sign, and I gave my love to the greatest race place. So, you know, my job here, as is yours and the entire team here, is to give our heart and soul to every moment of what we're here for. And that begins today with opening day, and it also will continue on Friday afternoons with an 8-race card when we're looking at the 4th race, bottom-level maidens. This is all about celebrating the successes of those who have the privilege of winning here at Santa Anita Park. The storied history is not lost, and it's something that I reflect upon each and every day.
It's an honor to represent Santa Anita, that's for sure, and I know both you and I feel that way. Now, Frank, I mentioned the feature race. Of course, we've got many feature races, but of course, the marquee race is the Run Happy Malibu, and of course, Mattress Mac, the owner of Run Happy. You're good friends with him. We know he likes to play sports. Does he dabble in the horses at all? Do you think he'll be playing Santa Anita today?
It's doubtful, but once in a while, he'll get some texts and some steam from people, and he'll fire away on one of his account wagering
platforms
that he deals with, but very rarely actually for Mac. I mean, what can he possibly win on an afternoon here? He can't get all the money that's in the pools. I mean, you know, he likes to fire in a big way, but he certainly supports Santa Anita. This is his favorite racetrack. He is a proud sponsor and does a great job for us. And certainly I know that Nate Newby is very grateful for the support that he has given the track from a revenue standpoint. And we are proud to display the Run Happy name everywhere. If you could turn your head and you don't see Run Happy sign, it means, in the words of Mattress Mac, we're not being ubiquitous. I had to look that up when he sent it, but that's what he wants, and that's what he gets here at Santa Anita Park.
The way the camera is framed right now, it looks like it says it looks like it says unhappy, which couldn't be farther from the truth. We're all very happy.
Do you want to know something? That's how this horse was named.
Do tell.
It's a story, and I don't know maybe the entire story, but it was along the lines of, there was a customer at Gallery Furniture, and the thing is, it turned into Run Happy, and that's how the actual name came up. But it began with a mistaken thing of unhappy, and I guess there was an R before it, and it looked like a perfect name. And it is a perfect name. The beautiful thing about Run Happy is it's a positive name, and so therefore we can proudly display it. And it's been displayed on TV monitors, TV networks, racetracks, all over the place. And you know, Mac built his fortune starting with $5,000 in Houston, opening a furniture company, and he knows that advertising pays off. And Run Happy has been well supported, and his name is very well known. And sometimes people think it's too well known. Well, guess what? Coca-Cola still advertises as well. I think people know what a Coke is. So in the end, advertising pays off. I've worked in advertising since the early 90s. It's something I firmly believe in, as long as it's the right platform. I've never sold any advertising I didn't firmly believe in that would have a value for the customer. And in this circumstance, we're proud to have him here, and we're proud to display his name. And Run Happy represents a lot of positive things. He represents a lot of things that First Racing and our company stands behind, which is, being very moderate with the medication and being very careful and being aware of the safety of the horses. And, Max supports these very important causes, and they're causes that we believe in. And the good news is our management team has put things in place here at Santa Anita Park and has set the standard, and stats don't lie. Things have gotten remarkably better over the past 4 or 5 years, and we're very pleased and very proud of that. And we're happy to set the standard, for which other racetracks around the country are starting to follow suit.
Hear, hear, says Tom Quigley, who's the seminar host, along with Frank Mirahmadi, our seminar guest. We're going to take a quick break and put Frank to work. He's going to give us the changes, and there are a number of them, including jockey changes. When we return, we're going to find out who Frank likes on today's 11-race card, so stay tuned for those scratches.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to opening day at Santa Anita Park. The track is fast, the turf course firm. The rail on the turf is at 0 feet. Here are the early changes on the opening day card. The first race begins the 50-cent early pick 5. In the first, scratch number 5, Agatino. With that scratch, there's no super high 5 wagering. Number 6, Handy Dandy, make the jockey Juan Hernandez. Joel Rosario has been excused from his mounts today. Juan Hernandez rides number 6 in race 1. The second race starts the early pick 4. Just a blinker note in race 2. In today's third, the Grade 2 San Gabriel Stakes. Number 7, Flashiest, make the jockey Tyler Gaffleone. Tyler Gaffleone rides number 7, Flashiest, in race 3, the Grade 2 San Gabriel. Moving on to race 4, there are no changes. We have a middle pick 4 beginning with race 5 on races 5, 6, 7, and 8. In the fifth, number 2, Hawker, make the jockey Kazushi Kimura. Kazushi Kimura rides number 2, Hawker, in race 5. Blinker notes for 6 and 8. Middle pick 4 starts with the 5th race. The 20-cent Rainbow Pick 6 jackpot begins with this afternoon's 6th race, the Grade 2 San Antonio Stakes. By the way, in that 5th race, scratch the also eligibles, 13 and 14. In race 6, number 3, Breakfast Ride, will be ridden by Tyler Gaffleone. Tyler Gaffleone rides Breakfast Ride in the San Antonio. The winner of the San Antonio will receive an invitation to the Pegasus World Cup to be run on January 28th at Gulfstream Park. In the 7th, start of the late pick 5, down the hill, there are no changes. Turning to the 8th, the Grade 1 La Brea Stakes. Scratch number 2, Hot Peppers. Note that number 5, Ain't Easy, the jockey Tyler Gaffleone. Tyler Gaffleone rides Ain't Easy in the La Brea. In the 9th race, number 12, Caracazzi, the jockey Flavien Prat. Flavien Prat rides number 12 in race 9. Scratch the also eligibles, 13 and 14. The 10th race, the Grade 1 Run Happy Malibu. Number 5, Hoist the Gold, make the jockey Joe Bravo. Number 7, Perfect Flight, the jockey Frankie Dettori. Joe Bravo on the 5, Frankie Dettori rides number 7. And in the 11th, the Grade 1 American Oaks. Jockey to be announced for number 2, Sparkle Blue. Keep in mind that the Golden Hour late pick 4 begins with race 10, combining the last 2 races from Santa Anita Park with the last 2 from Golden Gate Fields. The Golden Hour double starts with race 11. Enjoy opening day at Santa Anita Park. Post time for the first, the grade 2 Santa Anita Mathis Mile is coming up as the opener and start of the early pick 5. First post is at 11 a.m. in 56 minutes. Let's go back to the studios and Quigley's Corner.
Welcome back. We're talking horses with the track announcer, Frank Mirahmadi, the voice of Santa Anita. Frank, as you mentioned, we've got a number of wagering opportunities on today's card. With the return of racing at Golden Gate, we've got the $1 Golden Hour Pick 4 as well as the $5 Golden Hour Daily Double. And the 20-cent Rainbow Pick 6 today has a special promotion as well. If there's one single ticket that is sold with all the winning combinations, that ticket holder will receive $1 million regardless of the pool size. Certainly an opportunity you want to try and capitalize on. Speaking of trying to capitalize on things, there's also a $1,500 live money tournament that you can play here on track at Santa Anita or online at ExpressBet. Certainly would encourage you, if you want to try and make some money, to get involved with that tournament today as well. You keep whatever you win, and there's prize money as well as Pegasus World Cup Betting Challenge seats and NHC National Handicapping Championship seats as well. Easy for me to say. That's why I'm not the track announcer. Frank, a lot of races to go through here, and as you mentioned, a lot of changes. Hopefully some people's pens and pencils didn't run out of ink because we want to mark down your selections. But let's kick things off here in race number 1, which, as you mentioned, starts the 50-cent early pick 5, and it's one of the 3 grade 2 events. It's the grade 2 Santa Anita Mathis Mile. The rails today are at 0 feet. We've got a field of 6 after the scratch of number 5, Agatino. Also take note the jockey on number 6, Handy Dandy, will now be Juan Hernandez. Joel Rosario not riding here in Southern California today. But the current betting choice at 8-5 is on the rail. Number 1, Balnikov, who was very impressive in victory at Keeneland Racecourse, I should say, last time out. But the concern is there doesn't seem to be a lot of early speed in this race. Does that factor into who you choose in race number 1?
It did factor into it. And before we get into the Santa Anita Mathis Mile, let me just give a quick shout out to Mathis Brothers Furniture, a big sponsor
100%.
here, and a sponsor that's very passionate about thoroughbred care and thoroughbred well-being.
Which ties into your closing statement in the opening.
Exactly. And what we basically are looking at is they have those plush toy horses that are beautiful gifts. Look, Santa Claus can come late once in a while, so you can get those things. You pay $20. The good news is 100% of that goes to Karma, C-A-R-M-A. You can go to their website and donate directly as well. Karma for Horses, C-A-R-M-A, the number 4 horses.org. And we are very, very big supporters of Karma. Of course, they have an office here at Santa Anita, and it's a big part of what we believe in. And it's a big part of what Mathis Brothers believes in. And so they're going to match the first $25,000 of donations. Let's face it, they're probably writing a check for $25,000 regardless, but we're hoping to, exceed that number. And the plush horse toys are well worth the $20, and they're going to a great cause. So I would highly recommend you get involved and get that purchase today. It's a great gift to give away.
Maybe the players watching can earn $20 off your selections and just make a free donation.
I'm going to give you a couple of winners today. Don't worry about a thing. By the way, I'm a stats guy. So if I was getting drowned on this seminar, I would tell you, like the last 4 or 5 seminars, it's been a positive ROI, and
it sure has.
I like to put extra weight on myself and more pressure. I'm not overwhelmed with my first race selection, but I am going to take a pace play, and that's number 7, Sumter. Sumter stretches out. He's a good-looking and beautifully bred son of Warfront, trained by Richard Mandela. Let me tell you this. The last time he ran in the Stormy Liberal at Del Mar, he did go up at 4-1, but I can tell you very late in the wagering, this horse was vying for favoritism. He had taken a lot of money, and then right at the end, turned on the Jets, got hammered down to 2-1 and ran accordingly. He figured to be the favorite and win, and he won convincingly. Sumter lost a photo for second, but he's 2 for 2 at the distance of a mile. He is reunited with Hall of Famer Mike Smith, who got him home. I mean, he turned away Singletary for Balnikov and Little Red Feather. That's a vicious beat.
That was a desperate photo.
And for them not to win, the Singletary had to be extra rough. But Balnikov, as you mentioned, is a very good horse, and he's got a very strong kick, and he is the morning line favorite. We should note that number 3, I'm a Gambler, which a dear friend of mine sent me an article that was in Thoroughbred Daily News that I did not know this. I typically don't pick, European shippers that come in with 24 starts. But how about 14 starts in 2022 for this guy? And he sold for $1 million. So
I'll give you one more, Frank, if you have the past performances in front of you.
I do.
He ran on back-to-back consecutive days at Goodwood. He ran on August 27th. He came back the very next day on August 28th.
I would have tossed him on the 28th, and he was nowhere.
I don't think I've ever seen that before, at least in the last 30 or 40 years of handicapping.
Rest in peace, Barry Abrams. He'd at least give him 2 to 3 days off before he brought him back. So I like Sumter on the pace play. I like number 6, Handy Dandy. But let me say this. There's certain levels. Look, when you do a seminar, you got to come on the race, a horse. I'm not like, sitting like
doing cartwheels.
This horse is going to go wire to wire. But I like where I'm going to be. He's going to be on the front end. Catch him to collect. I'll go 76 trombones in my marching band to start off the opener, but I don't blame you if you're going elsewhere.
Race number 2 begins the 50-cent early pick 4. This race is on the main track. The distance is 1 mile. Maiden special weights 3-year-olds and up. A field of 6 morning line favorite from the Bob Baffert barn. Bob Baffert is running a large quantity of horses on today's card. Expect to see him in the winner's circle frequently. Maybe we will in race 2, where he saddles number 2, Purified, the 2-1 morning line favorite, ridden by Johnny V. Give us your thoughts, Frank.
Well, he has, been knocking on the door, so to speak. He started for maiden 50. That's a sign right there. And then last time he was a distant second to a very easy winner, Crahenbull, who won for fun that day. Here's my rule on Bob Baffert horses, maidens. If they've run twice, I usually don't pick them again. Like, he has so many expensive maidens, they're supposed to graduate. And sometimes you make an exception because it was another Baffert who beat it. But his horses here have run 3 and 4 times respectively. I'm pretty close to saying, and I'm going to say it now, my best bet of the day is in the second race, number 6, Pelagio, returning to Santa Anita. We were going to show a video, but you vetoed it, and rightfully so. There wasn't much to that. I mean, actually, that video might have hurt his cause because he did hang quite a bit. He looked like a stone-cold winner throughout and did not get by Troubadour and hasn't won in his 3 most recent starts. But he was the even money favorite last time out when getting drilled. Here's the thing about Pelagio. He's a little bit of a... maybe like a spoiled horse. He needs things to be his way. He doesn't need any kind of hindrance whatsoever. He's not a horse that's going to react well to any kind of trouble. So he needs it all to go his way, and it might very well go his way today. Victor Espinoza was aboard, the winner of the race that he ran in last time, who blew the field away. He knew what that looked like, and he was also aboard when he just missed. I think he had the race. I'm just going to guess he doesn't like Del Mar, and he likes Santa Anita. His race at Santa Anita, if he repeats it, I think he graduates. I'll pick the 3, Bletchley Park, as a second place finisher. He does take the blinkers off, has some ability, and was favored over Purified, who ran by him late. I can say this, both wins, because Purified is by Lord Nelson, who was a very good sprinter, but the Dam had 2 wins from 19 starts. Both of those wins, it should be noted, did come around 2 turns. So Purified certainly figures. The number 1, Principe, also ran very well, but I just like Pelagio, and I'm sticking with it. I get a lot of questions from friends. Who do you like? Who do you like? I've sent them 2 races. I sent him Pelagio as one of them and another one in race 5, and we'll get to that in a little bit.
6-3 in race number 2. Let's turn the page, take a look at race number 3. It's another grade 2 event. This one is the San Gabriel Stakes. Take note, the winner of this race will receive an invitation to the Pegasus World Cup Turf Race to be run on Saturday, January 28th, 2023 at Gulfstream Park. And we're traveling 1.1 miles on the turf course today. 1 jockey change on the bottom, make the jockey on number 7, Flashiest, Tyler Gaffleone, who is in town to ride for the day. Over number 2, Master of Foxhounds, who's put together 2 dynamite efforts as the 2-1 morning line favorite, according to morning line odds maker John White. What's the race like according to you?
I'm going to take a minor upset here with a horse that I think is going to enjoy the return to a little bit of a shorter distance, and maybe will have a more effective oomph kick in the stretch. I'm going to go for a mild upset with number 3, Dicey Mochara, who should be in a good stalking position and might have a real strong kick through the lane to get the money in here. He has come up short on a few occasions, including in the San Luis Rey when he had dead aim on Acclimate, but Acclimate's as tough as nails and held him off. That was about a year ago last year. But I'm going to say it was this year, but a long time ago. Anyhow, he has been beaten by some of today's rivals, and I do see that. But I just think that this might be the day and the distance for Dicey Mochara. I can tell you that Master of Foxhounds, I agree with you, has run extremely well in his last 2. And he beat Dicey Mochara, who tried to take a crack at him a couple of starts ago in the John Henry Turf Cup and couldn't get him. But I think maybe at 1 1/8, he might be able to turn the tables. But look, since Master of Foxhounds has gone to Phil D'Amato, he has regained his very promising form that he showed early in his arrival here. And I actually thought maybe he was over the hill, even though he's only 5. I was absolutely schooled and corrected when he won the John Henry at odds of 2-1. So he's a very, very tough customer in here, and will make his presence felt. I'm going to go 3-2 in race 3.
Frank, it should be noted, last year in the San Gabriel, when we came off the turf course, you gave out Bob and Jackie at 5-1 going wire to wire, which was a very good choice. 2 years ago, Bob and Jackie finished second in this particular race as well. It's an interesting move. The trainer, George Papadromo, off the long layoff, decides to try Graded Stakes Company in the comeback effort.
Well, and I think that one of the things to take into consideration is that Master of Foxhounds, who controlled the pace so nicely a couple starts ago, he's going to have some company in the form of Bob and Jackie, who likes the front end, and the one Rip City, who's a horse I've always liked, and he's also got that dangerous speed. So it's going to be interesting to see what develops early. Will Master of Foxhounds, who has shown it before, be able to sit and relax early and then pounce? I just think that perhaps with the way the setup is, the pace being a little more heated, that maybe Dicey Mochar and Juan Hernandez come and nip them late.
Pace makes the race. Let's turn the page. Take a look at race number 4, sprinting 6 furlongs in the main track. For maiden special weight 2-year-olds, a field of 8. Take note number 1. GM Session is a first-time gelding. Bob Befford has 3 runners in here, including the morning line favorite number 3. Foston is the 2-1 morning line favorite. Not much to go on here other than pedigree and workouts. What'd you go off of to come up with a selection?
It's funny, when I was looking up the pedigrees, I was looking up the 5 Yellow Brick 5-2 on John White's morning line, and I looked at the dam. I'm like, that sounds awfully familiar, related to Sumter in the first. So I'm going to stick with the family. Hope that it's a family fair for Perry Bass II and Ramona Bass, this good-looking son of Quality Road, out of a mare who won 3 of 19 but ran second 6 times, was effective at age 2, 3 starts, a win and a second. And the fact that John White has put this horse at 5-2 on the morning line in between the 2 Bob Baffert horses, the beauty of John White, I'm very familiar with how much work he puts into this. I think it's far too much work, but who could ever,
He's a handicapper's best friend.
I mean, if he's doing the work for you,
he's painting a story and telling you what you need to know.
And he's giving you more accurate morning line favorites that turn into the favorites than anyone in the country. Go look at the stats for yourself if you don't believe me. So that said, the fact he's knocking on the door with 5-2 on Yellow Brick
with Flavian.
Yeah. I mean, we all prefer green bricks, but yellow bricks are just fine too, because it's that yellow brick road. But nevertheless, I think that I'm going to this is an absolute guess. I haven't watched any of these workouts. I left it to him. By the way, I did text Bob Baffert last night because for some reason he
on Christmas night, did he reply?
He did reply. It was a little late reply. I was a little disappointed.
Come on, he's busy, man.
I actually had to give him a second text. Like, hey, man, let's go. But I was trying to get the pronunciation because he's got this thing, and it's actually, he insists. I gave him all kinds of choices. I looked it up. I looked more. The letters F-A-U-S-T-I-N were in my computer far more than I'd ever like them to be last night. And there are varying things that this is named after. But he went with Faustin is what he wants, like Faustin.
And Do we know what it means?
I mean, there's different people that it's related to. So, I mean, there's a character in Grand Theft Auto.
That's probably what it's named
I don't
after.
know if it is.
Come on, man.
I don't know about that. But it's certainly not. It's probably not that. I would guess not, coming from Michael Lund Pearson. I'm looking for more depth from him. But nevertheless, I'm going with Faustin unless I get a note from Bob. And I've had this issue before with these things, with these names, including Taiba, later in the day, that he insisted was Taiba and not Taiba. And so I went with Taiba. You got to listen. He trains the horse. He knows the owner. If that's what they want, that's what they get. They're getting Faustin in race 3, and they are the 2-1 morning line favorite. I was so disappointed because I was hoping that in conjunction with that text, I'd get a little knowledge.
Sure.
I got crickets, which probably means it's as live as it gets because I didn't hear one word from him. I didn't ask, but the best scheme always comes when it's not asked for, but just given.
Race number 5 is for 2-year-olds as well. It's for maiden special weights going 1 mile on the turf course. Also, as Frank mentioned during the change portion of the seminar, 50-cent middle pick 4 in today's 11 race card. That's right, a 50-cent middle pick 4 starting in race 5. Scratch the 2 also eligibles, 13 and 14. Speaking of pronunciations, help me out here again, Frank. Number 2, Hawker, is ridden by the Woodbine Invader, Kazushi Kimura.
Nice work.
Okay.
By the way, shout out to Jeff Bratt because my man Charlie McCall is as good as it gets. Mr. Consistency makes sure that I'm prepared each and every day. Was wondering whether we're going to go with Kaz, and I sent a little note to Jeff Bratt, absolute wizard at Woodbine, great handicapper, great guy. Look forward to meeting Jeff one day, but he's been a pleasure. I did a lot of work with him on the air back in the day. But Kazushi Kimura is the simple way. We don't want to get fancy and start creating nicknames for people. People do that all the time. Guys named Robert, and he wants Robert, they call him Bob.
Frank Mirahmadi. There's no nicknames for you.
There's no nicknames. Mirrorman.
By the way, Mirahmadi is a horse that's been bred and named and kind of in good hands.
Mischief.
Yeah. What could go wrong?
Tom Ryan. Listen, I hope he's faster than me. But I'm very honored. That was a huge surprise And I'm glad our boss, Nate Newby, had me show up at Clocker's Corner that morning to entertain a group of people. Next thing I knew, I had a horse named after me.
I think I gave you a little push to show up that morning.
I think you did. Yeah, you went to the left hand. You switched it.
But nevertheless, number 5, Dandy Man Shines, is the morning line favorite in race number 5. So the task at hand is, again, a race with not much form. Who do you like and why?
I'm going to say this. I hate to say this. I'm totally against Dandy Man Shines in here. I'm putting an X right through him. I would not include him myself on any ticket. And I'll tell you why in a minute. But first, we're going to go to my top selection, number 2, Hawker. Another video that TQ vetoed. This one,
this one was legit.
This was legit, but there wasn't much to it other than the just usual shuffle and this and that. It wasn't like some clear trial. It was one of those trips where you're like, I want to get this horse next time. So, by the way, and I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to warn you. This morning, after my picks were turned in last night, I looked through all of Jeff Siegel's picks. We're on many different pages here, so look out.
One of you was reading a different racing form.
Jeff Siegel runs circles around my handicapping, so let me warn you in advance. You might want to go to Express Pass. All you hear every day is...
And they're free of charge.
Free of charge. John White selections are in the program. I look forward to our
rivalry.
We have a rivalry. There's no question. It's a friendly rivalry, but we'll both know the score at the end of the day. But our man Eddie Olczyk came with his hat trick. And he has 3 live horses in there, one of which is Hawker in here with that trip. And I watched the video of him, and all 3 of the horses he mentioned are live horses. So I would pay attention to his thing. He's a longtime supporter of Express. But Hawker had one of those vintage first-time turf trips that you say, like, I need to get back to this sibling of Intrepid Heart and Commissioner, who's been meant to be something good all along. Laugh Track as well. Hawker, second time turf, second here. And originally we were thinking Joel Rosario. Now we're going to have a new man in town, and we're going to see. This is perfect, though. To me, I like this better because you're going to probably get a little bit of a better price with Kazushi Kimura than the Hammer. I expected the Hammer to come down with Rosario on this horse, but I like Hawker. The reason I'm against Dandy Man Shines is not necessarily anything bad about him. He ran unwillingly last time. I thought it was a good effort, and he's certainly good enough to break his maiden here. However, my long shot in this race, which I came very close to putting on top, but I just think Hawker is much more likely to win. But a horse you have to use is number 10, Smart Coat. This horse learned from that experience. He was on the wrong lead. He gets the blinkers on. Kyle Frey got to know him last time. He's going to be a much better price than my top selection, Hawker. I would use this horse in Exactas. I would use this horse in the pick 5. I would use him in the middle pick 4 because you're going to get a good price on a horse that I think has much more upside than Dandy Man Shines, who finished about 2 lengths in front of him. Like, if you look at these trips and realize that Smart Coat only was two lengths behind Dandy Man Shines, I'd much rather go to the 10 than the 5. That should put Jeff Mullins, Red Baron's Barn, and Rancho Temescal ready for pictures in race 5. But I'm going to go 2-10 in that order, and I like both those horses a lot. That would be my second best bet of the day.
On today's 11-race card, race number 6 begins the 20-cent Rainbow Pick 6. As you've seen graphically, and as I've mentioned at least once, if not twice, single ticket in the 20-cent Rainbow Pick 6 today pays $1 million if you're the only ticket, regardless of pool size. So definitely pay attention and do your handicapping for this 6-race sequence, where we kick it off with the Grade 2 San Antonio going 1 mile and a 16th on the main track. We've got a field of 6. Take note, Frankie Dettori rides the morning line favorite on the bottom. Number 6, Country Grammar, one of 3 in here trained by Bob Baffert. Also take note, the jockey in number 3, Breakfast Riders, Tyler Gaffleone. This is a really good race. Obviously, some runners are prepping for some of the overseas rich races like the Saudi Cup and the Dubai World Cup. But today we got to pick a winner. Who's it going to be?
I think we just got to bring out the soundtrack from Peaches and Herb and bring back Reunited, and it feels so good for number 6, Country Grammar. Frankie Dettori did ride him to win the Dubai World Cup, and I think Country Grammar is the right horse in here. He's had an opportunity to get over the fact that Flightline beat him by a block in 7/8, and last time out he was second to his stablemate Defunded, who was very sharp that day, and Defunded has been running like a beast. I think Country Grammar is the right horse. I'll tell you, number 1, Hopkins, being out of a Salt Lake mare, I'm not really enamored with the fact of him going this long, but he has been very talented and shown it in all 4 of his starts thus far. I'm going to go 6-1, thinking that he can outrun his odds here. With number 2, Stiletto Boy, an obvious exacta possibility as well. But to me, I think you can single Country Grammar. I think it's his time to get back to the run-happy winner's circle.
Full fields continue in race number 7. This is the first time we're coming down the hillside turf course. 6.5 furlongs is the distance. It's for Calbred, fillies and mares, non-winners of one other than. Also, race 7 begins the 50-cent late pick 5. We've got a full field of 12 in the lukewarm morning line favorite number 8. Big Beauty is lined at 7-2 on the morning line. This is one of the more competitive races on the card. Frank, how'd you see it?
There are a lot of horses you could use here. You could use the 1, which is Eddie O's pick, which returns to Calbred Company, and certainly was a horse that I thought merited strong consideration. But to show you how tough this race is, I didn't even put the 1 second. But I don't like the 1 necessarily going down the hill. That's probably the worst post. But Flame Magoon has enough speed to be right in the thick of it early. I like Big Beauty. She ran down the hill once, came running very strongly, finished second behind the 4-5 odds-on favorite that day. She was shifting in and off her lead in the late stages. She'll be there or thereabouts. She's no cinch, but she's definitely my top pick. But if I was spreading, I would use the 1, 7, 8, 9, and 11. So it's a very tough race in that regard. I went 8, 11. True Patriot was a horse I was very tempted to pick as well. I think we'll like every bit of this hillside course. So I'm going to go with Big Beauty based on the experience edge. She's a big, good-looking beauty indeed. And George Krikorian's stallion, Mr. Big, could be very well represented. And Mr. Big, of course, at our good friend Pete Perella's Legacy Ranch.
Big Beauty has 1 win from 8 lifetime starts, 4 seconds and 2/3. So a bit camera shy. We'll see if she can earn career victory number 2 in today's
Tough
7th race.
I mean,
very tough.
Redham's got a couple in there that could easily win. It's a race that you better be going and spreading in.
Race number 8 begins the 50-cent late pick 4. It's the Grade 1 La Brea Stakes for 3-year-old fillies, sprinting 7 furlongs on the main track. Scratch number 2, Hot Peppers, leaves us with a field of 7. Once again, Mr. Baffert has 4 runners in here, including the morning line favorite number 4, Midnight Memories, who is undefeated with blinkers off. 5-2 on the morning line. And take note, number 5, Ain't Easy. The new jockey is now Tyler Gaffleone. Talk to us about race 8, Frank.
Tough heat. I'm going to go with number 3, Ganadora, who was impressive in her debut, and she did get drilled by Under the Stars when they met going longer, but I think 7/8 hits her right between the eyes. I'm going to look for another mild upset in here with Ganadora, but you can't ignore Midnight Memories either. Daughter of Mastery has been very, very effective, as you mentioned, and so she's going to be tough as well. This is a race, you could go so many directions here. Under the Stars, Fun to Dream, Ain't Easy. I always liked Kirsten Bosch from her debut. I mean, this is a race I would not be surprised if you use the all, but I'm going 3, 4 in that order. Very tough. La Brea, Grade 1 event. Looking forward to calling it.
Frank, you make a good point, because in most of these races, sure, there's a favorite that you might be able to like, but it's not going to be an odds-on favorite. The contention runs deep. In some of these stakes races, the field sizes might not be ginormous, but at the same time, there's a number of contenders. And so these multi-race wagers, whether it's the 20-cent pick 6 or the 50-cent late pick 5, could pay real handsomely with $8, $9, $10 type horses, because they're tough to isolate and tough to single.
Exactly. And these are tough from top connections. I'm sure Baffert's going to be hearing from so many people today. Who do you like here? I got news for you. He likes everybody. So good luck to you, and try to figure it out. That's where the post parade helps you, and that's where little things. Watch the board every now and again.
Listening to Millie and Zoe and everybody else who's
when
taking
the hammer
a look at the
comes
horses.
down on those Baffert horses, it's usually
a good sign.
It's a good sign.
Race number 9, we're going 1 mile and 1/8 on the turf course for fillies and mares, non-winners of one other than. Another full field of 12. Scratch the 13 and 14. Make the jockey on number 12, Karakatsi. Flavia and Pratt, morning line favorite. Lukewarm once again is number 3, Ballet Dancing from the Simon Callahan barn. 4-1 on the morning line, indicating another tough, wide open race. Frank, talk to us about race 9.
I almost went to the 2, Precious Baby, because that would have been a nice, I could give myself a round of applause if I was right. She looked good, but she did beat Calbred. She beat him decisively
at 25-1.
Broke slowly, like surprise, surprise. This daughter of Tom's Tribute is here to play. Jim Cassidy and company. That was a good win for them. We don't know how good she is. I know she beat Calbred, but she broke dead last, controlled it, strided out nicely in the lane. But I'm going to go to Ballet Dancing, getting the blinkers on. I think that, in this circumstance, she just figures to improve. Here, the race under her belt last time out. Horse who won that race is School Dance, who's a sharp D'Amato filly, who's 2 for 2 since coming here. This is a horse that I think is dangerous and is the right morning line favorite. It's a tough spot. If you're looking to spread, the other horses I had little marks on would be 2, 3, 7, and 12, but I went 3, 2 in that order. Don't be surprised if Precious Baby is a little better than the morning line may indicate. She was 25-1. She's going to be a big price again here, but this is an unknown. When you win first time out, going 136-1, striding well clear of the rest, it doesn't matter who you beat. She beat him with authority. So if you're going to take a shot, Mike Smith was on there for a reason last time, but she's gonna have to step her game up big time in order to win again.
Race number 10 could decide the Eclipse Award 3-year-old championship. It's the Grade 1 Run Happy Malibu Stakes, sprinting 7 furlongs on the main track. Take note, the winner of this race will receive an invitation to the Pegasus World Cup to be run on the same day, Saturday, January 28th, 2023 at Gulfstream Park. Also, race 10 begins the $1 golden hour pick 4. We've got a field of 9, 2 jockey changes. Make the jockey at number 5, Hoist the Gold, Joe Bravo. Frankie Dettori rides the 7, Perfect Flight. And Moyne Lane favorite number 6, Taba, exiting the Breeders' Cup Classic. Slam dunk here, Frank, or are you looking elsewhere?
I think this is a stone cold single here. I like Taba to dominate this race. He looks like the right horse. His one race around one turn here was that debut, which was nothing short of sensational. He validated that by coming back and winning the Santa Anita Derby with authority as well, running right by Messier. I don't know what has happened to Messier, but you got to beware. If he ever does wake up, this horse has burnt so much chalk in his life that if he comes back and is able to do something, you never know when it's going to happen. He's a gorgeous horse. I mean, he was my Derby horse last year and finished 15th. Who knows what the story with him has been, but he just keeps coming back for more, and therefore you can't ignore him. I went 6-3 with Apprehend second, but I'm always afraid of Messier rebounding.
Close out a tremendous 11-race card in race number 11, going 1.25 miles on the turf course. This is the Grade 1 American Oaks for 3-year-old fillies. The winner of this race will receive an invitation to the Pegasus World Cup Filly and Mare Turf Race to be run on Pegasus World Cup Day, January 28th, 2023 at Gulfstream Park. Also, race 11 begins the $5 golden hour daily double, linking our last race with the last race at Golden Gate. Good luck to our sister track Golden Gate up north, reopening today. And we've got a field of 11 here. Take note that the jockey number 2, Sparkle Blue, is to be announced. The Moyne Lane favorite, Salima from the Chad Brown barn, who's won this race 2 of the last 4 years, another New York Invader. But there's other Invaders in here as well. This is a really good race to close out the card,
American
Frank.
Oaks, great race from the beginning when it was run over at Hollywood Park. I want to let you know that I was just checking my phone, not to be surfing the internet, but rather to check if my man Charlie McCall from the Jock's Room has named a jockey yet, or if Graham Motion has named a jockey. And the answer is not yet for number 2, Sparkle Blue, who is my selection, but I can no longer come with the old Rosario got to know her last time speech because he will not be on her. But I do pick her, and Graham Motion, when he comes here, means business. Beautifully bred. I love hard spuns on the grass, and I love Smart Strike on the bottom. She's 4 for 7. Number 7, Skims, is also a very legitimate horse, having come off a nice win in the Sands Point for Shug McGahee, Shug and Johnny V with a perfect trip. One thing about Johnny V, it's really unbelievable how often that guy gives you the perfect trip.
2 and 7 to close out an exciting and hopefully lucrative 11-race card here at the Great Race Place. Want to thank all of you for watching and tuning in early. Next voice you hear will be track announcer Frank Mirahmadi, updating us with any late program changes. Keep in mind, live racing will resume this coming Friday at San Diego. No live racing until this coming Friday at San Diego. We race Friday through Monday over New Year's weekend. Thanks again so much for watching, everybody, and good luck.
Time we ask that you please rise for our national anthem as Santa Anita Park proudly welcomes Sarah Nimitz.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to opening day at Santa Anita Park. The track is fast, the turf is firm, the rail on the turf at 0 feet. Here are the changes. The first race is the start of the 50-cent early pick 5. It's the grade 2 Santa Anita Mathis Mile. Scratch number 5, Agatino. Note that number 6, Handy Dandy, the jockey is Juan Hernandez. No super high 5 wagering in the first, but we do have the player-friendly early pick 5 starting with race 1. In the second race, start of the early pick 4, just a blinker note. Turning to the third, the grade 2 San Gabriel Stakes. Number 7, Flashiest, make the jockey Tyler Gaffleon. Race 4 is the Boomer Bloodstock race. No changes. Turning to the fifth, scratch the also eligibles 13 and 14. Number 2, Hawker, the jockey Kazushi Kimura. Kazushi Kimura rides number 2, Hawker. We do have a middle pick 4 that begins with race number 5. Sixth is the grade 2 San Antonio Stakes. Number 3, Breakfast Ride, make the jockey Tyler Gaffleon. The Rainbow Pick 6 begins with race number 6. And if you're the only ticket with all 6 winners today, we are guaranteeing a $1 million payout. That's only for a single ticket winner today. Turning to race 7, start of the late pick 5. There are no changes. 8th is the grade 1 La Brea, scratch number 2, Hot Peppers. Note that number 5, Ain't Easy, the jockey Tyler Gaffleon. Late pick 4 begins with the grade 1 La Brea. 9th race, scratch 13 and 14. Note that number 12, Caracazzi, the jockey is Flavien Prat. Flavien Prat rides 12, Caracazzi. The 10th and featured event, the Grade 1 Run Happy Malibu Stakes. In this race, number 5, Hoist the Gold, the jockey Joe Bravo. 7, Perfect Flight, Frankie Dettori. 5 and 7 with jockey changes in the Run Happy Malibu. We close things out with the 11th race, the Grade 1 American Oaks. There's still a jockey to be named for number 2, Sparkle Blue. The Golden Hour Pick 4 starts with the 10th. Golden Hour Double starts with the 11th. Enjoy opening day at the Great Race Place. They'll be at the gate for the opener in 22 minutes at 11 a.m.
Good opening day, everybody. Hope you're having a wonderful holiday season, and let's kick off the Santa Anita meet with a hat trick. Let's start off in race 5, number 2, Hawker. Joel Rosario stays aboard, which is positive. Eventful trip in last. Second time around 2 turns. All systems go. Race 5, number 2, Hawker. Let's go to race 7, number 1, Flame Magoon. Back to 1 turn on grass. Back to state breds. And the first time down the hill should get a good stalking position. Race 7, number 1, Flame Magoon.